Alright, chat. This video is called The Murder So Brutal Even Investigators Were Disturbed. It's true crime documentary. I've been incredibly interested in true crime pretty recently. I watched one that was insane the other day. I'll have that linked in the description below, but we're just going to get into this.
In this video,
because I have no idea about anything that they're going to say in this video.
we uncovered the tragic and mysterious story of Amanda Winkowski, a young woman whose disappearance and shocking discovery left behind more questions than answers. There was lying, covering up, and a terrible probe. Amanda was found naked, upside down and frozen in a trash can, but the cops say she got there by accident. Amanda's life was sad from the start to the end, but her...
They say she got there upside down, naked in a trash can on accident? How is that even possible?
Death was especially upsetting. What could have happened to Amanda? How did she get into a trash can in the middle of winter in New York? Before we dive into the full story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more real-life crime documentaries, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comments, which country are you watching from? It's always incredible to see how far these stories reach and how many people around the world care about uncovering the truth behind real-life cases. Your support keeps these stories alive and ensures that the victims are never forgotten.
All right.
Now let's get into it. Amanda Winkowski, who goes by the name Manda, was born and raised in Buffalo, New York. Amanda graduated from Niagara Wheatfield High School in 2006. Her mother, Leslie, says she was also named Miss Teen Buffalo at one time. Amanda also did everything from dancing to swimming to gymnastics in high school. She put each of her eggs in a different box, and things were going well. Amanda really wanted to be a police officer. She wished to make things better. She was smart.
Oh no, man. This happens to her and she wanted to be a police officer? It's not funny, but the irony is crazy.
Pretty and strong for her age. Around the same time, Amanda also got her police officer license from the Board of Cooperative Educational Services, BOCES. That's where all of her plans went wrong. She was one step closer to making her dream come true. People say that the people you hang out with make you who you are. Well, Amanda's mom says she met some sketchy people while she was working on her BOCES license, and that's when she started going down the dark path of addiction. Amanda felt like she was stuck in a deep black hole and couldn't get out. She told her mom one time that it felt like the devil.
Yeah, like if you're... I can kind of already see where this is going. I don't know for sure if this is where it's going. But if you're working on becoming a police officer and you're hanging around bad people doing bad things, those two things don't mesh together. Clearly somebody who's doing a bad thing that you know about is probably gonna be like, wait, this person's trying to become a police officer? And she's been hanging around with us the whole time? Oh no, she's gonna tell on us, bro. We gotta do something about this. I don't know if that's exactly where it's going, but that's what it seems like from what I've heard so far.
Was after her, which is a great way to describe it. It's like running away from
I don't know. That feels like a movie plot to me, but that's just what I understood from it.
You can't see. Every step you take makes you feel like you're making progress, but you can still feel their heavy breathing on the back of your neck. It's so sad to see Amanda sink deeper and deeper into drug abuse. She used to be an eager 18-year-old girl with big dreams. Amanda was strong, though. Because Leslie wanted her to get clean, she did everything she could to give up her drug use. Leslie was always there for her daughter, even when money was tight. The ride was rough, though, as it always is. Amanda really didn't want to be a junkie. She tried a lot of different ways to break the habit, but nothing worked. Amanda had to do work for adults at some point to pay for her drug habit. People would give her drugs in exchange for having sexual relations with them. It was a very bad cycle. Amanda knew she couldn't do this.
Wait, was that actually her, or was that a stock image? Because if that's her, the drugs already took their toll on her. Holy shit. Because that person looks about 10 years older. Unless it's just makeup. But, oh my god.
Relations with them. It was a very bad cycle. Amanda knew she couldn't do this forever, but she also felt like if she stopped feeding the monster, her body would turn inside out. Amanda knew a lot of shady people, so she also had a boss at the time. His name was Adam Patterson, and some say that Adam looks old enough to be Amanda's dad when you put them next to each other. He wasn't, though. He was in
I know somebody named Adam Patterson, but it's definitely not the same person.
charge of Amanda. She also lived with that boss on the Tuscarora Reservation in Lewiston. For the most part, Adam knew everyone who could help Amanda. Amanda got what she wanted, and they got what she wanted. Adam would set up talks between them and drive her to the homes of these people so that the deals could be made. You can read what's not written. In conclusion, this was Amanda's life before she died too soon, and this is what she was doing on the day she disappeared. Amanda was trying to win this tug of war between addiction and adult work at the time she went missing. She also worked at a pub called Cocktail Bob's and was taking criminal justice classes at Niagara County Community College. It all went wrong on December 5th, 2008, while Amanda was working at the bar. Her flatmate and boss, Adam, called her. Justice, Amanda's next client, was the man he had just hung up the phone with. I don't know if Amanda knew this at the time, but this Justice guy was bad. He was a mean person, and people thought he was a scary giant. He had a bad criminal past and was only 22 years old at the time. He was also built like a tank. Also, his real name wasn't Justice. The name of the guy was Antoine Garner, and Amanda had to go to Antoine's house on Buffalo's east side to make the trade as agreed upon by Adam. At work, Amanda asked a friend to cover her shift, and the friend did. Amanda then got into Adam's car and drove off. They got to Antoine's house, and Amanda got out. Adam said he stayed in the car outside, though. From now on, I want to make it clear that this is Adam's account of what happened, so take it how you will. It had been about an hour, and Amanda still hadn't come out, but she called him. It looks like Amanda told him not to wait for her because she was going to take a while. In that case, Adam did it. He drove away from Antoine's house because he thought Amanda would be able to get back home on her own. That could not happen, though. Amanda didn't come back home, and she also wouldn't answer her mom's calls. So, Amanda and Leslie often talked on the phone. So, when Leslie called Amanda the next day and didn't get a response, it was clear that she was very worried. This wasn't like Amanda at all. Amanda would always call her mom back, even if she was drunk. But it had been almost 2 days, and Leslie didn't want to give Amanda any more time to get in touch. On December 7th, she called the cops right away to say that her 20-year-old daughter was missing. Amanda hadn't come home or answered her phone for 2 days, so the cops wanted to talk to Adam Patterson, who they thought was the last person who saw Amanda. Adam told the cops the same thing I just told you when they finally asked him a question. He made a deal with Antoine and took Amanda to his house as payment. Amanda told Adam she would be late, and he drove off. When the cops asked Adam what he did after leaving Antoine's house, he said he went home around 8:30 p.m. and didn't know where Amanda was after that. Adam wasn't the last person to see Amanda alive, so the cops had to go back a bit. Antoine Garner was the one who did it. To find out what happened, the cops knew where to go. They ended up at the front door of Antoine's house, which was in a very sketchy part of town. When the cops asked Antoine about it, he had something else to say. He said that Adam and Amanda did come to his house, but Amanda only stayed for 10 to 15 minutes before leaving with Adam. When Amanda asked Antoine if they had sex, Antoine denied having any kind of sexual relationship with Amanda. Antoine says Amanda came to the house, they talked for a while, he gave her the things, and she left without giving him anything in return. I don't know Antoine very well, but he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would do that for people without expecting anything in return. It's a strange job, but one thing is for sure, you give and take. There is no kindness. Maybe Antoine was feeling so kind that day that he gave Amanda what she wanted without taking anything. I don't believe that. The cops were also lost, though. They talked to 2 guys who might have been the last people to see Amanda. They were both not very trustworthy. And now their stories didn't add up. This went on for a while, and Amanda was still being looked for. Amanda was mostly being looked for by her friends and Mom, Leslie, in all the places they knew she often went. But she wasn't there. She couldn't be found anywhere. The hours turned into days, and the days into weeks. It had been over a month, and no one knew where Amanda was. It was hard for her mom not to lose it because she was scared. In cases of missing persons, the first few hours and days are very important, but it was very scary to think that Amanda had not been seen in 4 weeks. The strange silence made Amanda's mom and friends feel very bad. It was hard for Amanda to get her life back on track after she had left everyone. No one knew where she was, or even if she was still living. That question would soon be answered, and it all began with a call to 911. We don't know who called us now. Reports said the caller was unknown and said the cops could find something in a trash can on the east side of Buffalo. The cops and emergency services were sent right away, and when they got there, it looked strangely familiar. Even though it was mostly a church parking lot, it was surprisingly close to where Antoine Garner lived and where Amanda was last seen and went to make a deal. When the cops got close to the trash can in question and opened it, they were shocked. Now, I don't know if I've already said this, but it was January 2009, which means it was very cold outside in New York. Not just cold, it was awful. So when the cops opened the bin, they saw a body that was frozen. The victim had no hair left on her head, so they didn't know if it was a guy or a woman. The head was clean shaven. Another person put the body in the bin face
what
down.
the fuck?
The face
Wait. Hold on.
was frozen. The victim had no hair left on her head, so they didn't know if it was a guy or a woman. The head was clean shaven. Another person put the body in the bin face down. The face
So they were trying to make it the person as least likely to be identifiable as possible, because they were hoping. But wait, so you would think that they were hoping maybe that it would stay there for a while and eventually decompose. But it's also winter, so nothing's really decomposing because there's no bugs out there that are alive in winter. But regardless of that, they also called the police and told them where it is. Well, somebody did. Somebody who I would assume knows something or was involved in the situation in some way. Unless it really was just a random person, but why would a random person tell the police that they could find something and not mention what it is? If they're a random person, they would say, there's a dead person in this trash can. They wouldn't say, hey, you can find a clue. The clue being the dead person in this trash can.
face and neck seemed to have marks on them. A butterfly tattoo on the neck was the only thing that helped the cops figure out who it was. Amanda also had a tattoo of a butterfly on her neck. The cops had to call Amanda's family.
They said this was 2009, right? Like, I feel like there was good ways to identify people by their face. Even back then. I mean, it's not like it's like this is local police. They should know the families that live there, right? To some extent.
To officially identify the body. Amanda's brother was the one who finally figured out who his dead sister was. The poor guy must have been going through so much pain and tragedy. It was. He called his mom in tears because he couldn't believe what he was hearing. He was about to lose his mind. As of now, it had been over a month, and there were still no answers. Amanda was never seen again. Her family and friends will never be the same again after she dies. But they had no idea that more pain was on the way. The cops had a lot of doubts about where the trash can was. The fact that it was found near Antoine's house made the police think it was an easy case. But Antoine denied everything when they talked to him again. He went so far as to say that if he killed Amanda, he wouldn't be so stupid as to throw her body away near his house without thinking.
Surely. Bro just tried to use reverse psychology. What the fuck?
Anyway, Amanda's body was taken for an autopsy so that the cause of death could be found. But in Amanda's case, this autopsy became a huge source of debate. To this day, not one, not two, but 3 autopsies have been done to try to figure out how Amanda died. The first autopsy was done as soon as Amanda's body was found, and it was determined that she died from, wait for it, an accidental overdose. It's strange and shocking that the marks on Amanda's body, which were clearly cuts and bruises, were never mentioned. According to the first report,
This is like a Stranger Things season 1 level cover up. What the fuck?
Amanda's death was an accident. According to the medical officers, Amanda lost her mind after getting high the night before she went missing.
All right.
They think she cut her head, took off her clothes, and then fell face first into a trash can. Are you
How? Like, we're not this. How? Who does that? She's high on drugs, hurts her head, gets a cut on her head, shaves her head, and then falls into a trash can outside in the snow and freezes to death. And then in the process somehow overdoses at the same time. Like, do we see how the logic here isn't adding up at all?
sure? In a different world, maybe, but not this one. In other words, you didn't have to be a medical doctor or a forensic expert to figure out that Amanda had been badly beaten. It's not likely that she died in an accident. Also, it was sad that if Amanda's autopsy showed that she died by accident, there was no reason to investigate murder in court. The second autopsy was done in November 2011 because, well, it was clear that it had to be done. Stephen Cohen, that lawyer for Amanda's family, hired 2 forensic doctors and asked to have Amanda's body turned over to them for another autopsy. What they found was horrifying. Amanda had been killed with their bare hands. It was also likely that Amanda tried to fight off the attacker because she had defensive cuts on her body. Amanda was also found upside down in a trash can, bare and naked. This is more proof that someone did this to her. And if that wasn't bad enough, she was missing her tongue. The 2 corpses are very different. You can...
What? So whoever did this took a damn trophy? Like, what? Huh?
really tell them apart. The second exam, which I think is more likely, shows that Amanda was killed. Stephen Cohen also asked for a second independent lab test to be done on Amanda's body. The results showed that Amanda's levels weren't high enough to cause her to overdose or die, even though
I think that was pretty fucking obvious. Everyone just wants to say that people who are addicted to drugs, automatically, the way that they died is overdose. No matter what overwhelming amount of evidence to the contrary they have.
did have drugs in her body, they weren't enough to kill her. What she did have, though, and a lot of it, was a popular drug called roofie. Also, DNA proof was found on Amanda's body, which was a big step forward in the case.
Wait, did they say she had roofie, it was in her, or she had it in her possession?
Did have, though, and a lot of it, was her body. They weren't enough to kill her. What she did have, though...
In her body, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So she got roofied, and, I'm assuming was used and thrown away. Which is horrible to say, but this happens a lot. Like, I've heard countless amounts of true crime stories that end the same way.
And a lot of it was a popular drug called roofie. Also, DNA proof was found on Amanda's body, which was a big step forward in the case. 2 female DNA profiles that have not been recognized were taken from Amanda's body, along with DNA profiles from Adam Patterson and Antoine Garner. We're not sure how the DNA from the woman got on her, but it's pretty clear how the DNA from Adam and Antoine got on her. Still, this didn't really answer the big question: who killed her? All of this led to Amanda's third and final autopsy, which was ordered by the district attorney and done by Dr. Scott LaPointe on his own at the start of 2012. However, the reason of Amanda's death was not found in this report. Some news stories said that Amanda's body was also the subject of a 4th autopsy, but the results were the same. Nothing was found. It didn't matter what they did because Amanda's death certificate still said she died of an accidental overdose because of the first mess of an autopsy, and her mom, Leslie, wanted to change that. She sued Erie County and the chief medical examiner of Erie County in September 2021, almost 13 years after her daughter was found in a trash can. She wanted to change the cause of death to murder. Leslie had a simple goal.
Because
she
that's
either
what it
wanted
was.
the cause of death to be changed to murder or...
And, like, whoever did this autopsy is actually brain dead. What the fuck type of drunk person did they have doing this autopsy?
Undetermined, or she wanted the Erie County Medical Examiner's Office to start the case over so that the right cause of death could be found. But none of that happened because the case was thrown out because it was too late, which is crazy. More than 10 years had passed since Amanda's body was found, and even after several autopsies and a lawsuit, the case was still deadlocked. Can you picture how Amanda's mom and her family must have felt all these years? They are trying to find solutions but are running into problem after problem. Even though it's terrible, there is still hope. Amanda's body had Antoine Garner's DNA on it, and the cops were suspicious of him before the autopsy. But Amanda's autopsy and death certificate both said that she died of an accidental overdose. After that, the investigation pretty much stopped, and Antoine was no longer even slightly thought to be guilty. But how can someone so quickly rule out Antoine and the idea that he might be involved? It was clear that he was a mean person. He worked with shady people and things, and Amanda had last seen him alive. Also, remember that Antoine said he and Amanda never touched each other, so why was his DNA on Amanda's body? Amanda's body was also found in a church parking lot, just a few steps from Antoine's house, which is where she was last seen. There's something wrong with Antoine that can't be explained. Who knows for sure, even though he said that someone was setting him up after Amanda's body was found. But something strange happened in 2013, 5 years after Amanda went missing. It has nothing to do with Amanda, but the connections are so strange, they're scary. As you can see, Antoine Garner was arrested for several crimes in 2013. Some of these were hitting and almost killing an adult worker that he paid for. When Garner's crimes were looked into, they revealed that he had done several felony crimes between December 2008 and January 2009. Are you familiar with the timeline? At this very moment, Amanda went missing and was later found in a trash can. Being the man that he is, Antoine was also found with a child and was arrested for armed robbery. In June 2011, the cops learned that he had hired an adult worker and choked her with his bare hands. Does this sound like someone you know? Now you know what kind of guy Antoine is. I mean, it's not hard to picture him as a mean and violent man who would do anything to hurt someone who messes with him, or even someone who doesn't mess with him, like the woman he held hostage while robbing her house. Overall, the fact that Antoine lied about not being sexual with Amanda the night she went missing, and that his DNA was found on her, is very fishy. I just don't see how that could be possible. Now let's forget about Amanda's case for a moment. Antoine was given 18 years in jail for strangulation, assault, and 2 counts of robbery. He is still there, but he was never charged in Amanda's case. It's been 16 years since Amanda and Adam left their shift at Cocktail Bob's and went to Antoine's house. Her frozen body was found.
This is why, like, I know this was 2009. This was over a decade and a half ago. But it's still just, like, this shit happens all the time, and people get away with it, or they get away with it either for their entire life or at least, like, 10, 15, 20, 30 years until they finally go back to the case and they're like, wait, maybe whoever was doing this investigation was a fucking idiot because the signs are everywhere. And then they finally do something about it. But this is why I lose hope in the fucking justice system, because they're all a bunch of dumbasses. It's actually ridiculous.
In a trash can near Antoine's house about 16 years ago. Amanda's DNA from Antoine and Adam was found on her body 16 years ago when she was put to rest. But no one has been caught killing her. There is a lot of proof that Antoine probably had something to do with it. But we don't know for sure. But even if he was, is it possible that Adam had something to do with it too? He was her boss, and he set up the meeting between Amanda and Antoine in the first place. A mother lost her daughter more than 10 years ago, and as far as anyone knows, the person responsible still hasn't been punished. Leslie is still working for justice, even though her long fight has led to a lot of setbacks and no progress. She knows that her daughter was killed. Justice for her daughter, who was more than just an addict or an adult worker. In April 2021, new evidence suggested that Antoine may have used a taser or a stun gun to restrain Amanda before killing her. Supporters of the case say they have a witness who can say that Antoine had a stun gun and used it on Amanda, which would add a whole new layer to the story if these witnesses are proven to be reliable. Campaigner for Erie County Sheriff Miles Carter said that Amanda's case should be looked into more, either with fresh eyes or by focusing on the most obvious proof. Nobody has heard anything new about this case since 2025. While Antoine is still in jail serving his term, no one knows when he'll be freed, but it's likely to be soon. Investigators working on Amanda's case should be able to find...
Which is crazy to think about. Because, like, this man isn't in prison for murder, but he definitely should be. He's in prison for something completely different. Like, the other things that he did are also bad, but he should also be in prison for murder because he did that shit. And you can't tell me that he didn't.
Smoking gun that will catch the killer, whoever he is. Leslie has hope, but she is also broke that she has worked so hard to get justice for her daughter and still can't. She can't move on. She has no idea how to deal with this terrible scenario. Finally, Amanda's case should come to an end, and a good one at that. It is the only way to make sure Amanda's death wasn't in vain, and that the person or people who killed her are still held accountable for what they did. Amanda wasn't just a life that could be thrown away. Like all of us, she was a young woman with hopes, dreams, and goals. She was in a bad place because of bad choices she made, but she was doing her best to get out of it and get things back on track so she could become a police officer, which was her dream job. It breaks my heart to hear about young women or anyone else ending up in such a soul-crushing way of life, but we could all have one bad day or make one bad choice that would make our lives worse. We can only do our best, which is what Amanda was sadly doing. So much damage was done to her mother after her daughter was violently taken from her. It breaks my heart to see her. Amanda Winkowski's story is more than a mystery. It's a haunting reminder of how easily a system can fail someone who needs help, compassion, and justice. 16 years have passed since her body was found, yet the truth remains buried under conflicting reports, unanswered questions, and endless pain for the people who loved her most. This case reminds us that behind every headline is a human being, with a story, a family, and a future that mattered. Amanda's life may have been cut short, but her voice still echoes through every person who continues to seek justice in her name. What do you think really happened to Amanda Winkowski? Do you believe justice will ever be served? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more.
It should be served, but do I have faith that it'll ever happen? No. Because I've seen it fail so many damn times. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. Anyways, chat, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Yeah, I'll see y'all later.